All praises to Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shine. Let's get into this video.
Hey, it's Joe from Georgia, folks. This is big, huge news, and it's going to affect all of you. As of today, the United States Strategic Petroleum Reserve is at a 50-year low. The United States of America right now has a 41-day supply of crude oil left, folks. 41 days, the lowest in over 50 years. So get ready. Anyone who's complaining about gas prices, get ready to blow your top, because what you're seeing now, you haven't seen anything yet. And remember, it was this administration and the MAGA folks who complained about Joe Biden and gas prices. Well, folks, that record is gonna be broken, just like right now with the beef market. But for us to be in such a position, fighting a war in Iran, not being able to get oil moved around the world, and for us to have the lowest level of strategic oil reserves that we've had in over 50 years, it's time to wake up. And this November, folks, you need to make sure that this administration has to pay the price. So, folks, we've got to put some people who know what they're doing in office who can help us get through this. Because, folks, we're seeing a crisis in fuel, food, housing. It's the perfect storm, folks, and it's not going to turn out well. So make sure this November you get behind people who are willing to work together to figure all this out. Because, folks, our country is in a mess right now.
Alright, so as you can see, you heard him. He said there's 41 days left of oil, or about 40. Because, Slovakia, the petroleum reserves are down. Now, I've actually heard this before. I believe it was probably 2 years ago. I heard the exact same thing, that the oil was going to run out by November. And now I'm hearing the same thing again of them saying the oil was going to run out in November. But this time, I still don't think it might run out, but not really. I don't know. Right? Only Yahweh knows. So the thing is, we do know that the SPR, right, the Strategic Petroleum Reserves, are being drawn down, and they're being drawn down, at a increasing rate. Now, that doesn't mean they're drawing more barrels of oil, but they keep drawing barrels of oil. And we're getting to a point now where we're hitting that critical limit of oil being drawn out. And I'm not sure exactly what this means, but we'll go to Google and see what this means. Right? Let's go here. Right here, and says, what happens if the SPR runs out? It says, if the Strategic Petroleum Reserve runs completely low or hits its physical drawdown limits, the United States loses its primary economic shock absorber for emergency fuel disruptions. Right? And before I read everything else, as you know, when it comes to the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, at a certain point they need to reserve that oil for the military. So just because you see so-and-so barrels doesn't mean that so-and-so barrels available. Right? For instance, with the you have sweet and sour, and I believe there's one type of oil being drawn at a much bigger rate compared to the other. So, cavern collapse. The SPR stores oil in massive underground salt caverns in Texas and Louisiana. Extracting oil requires pumping fresh water into the bottom of the caverns to float the oil upward. Draining them too low dissolves the structural salt walls, thins critical pillars, and drastically increases the risk of a catastrophic cave-in. Right? So the thing is, too, right, is even if you don't, according to this, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, you may not even get to draw out all the oil. The cavern could just collapse completely and you have no oil at all. Right? Loss of pumping speed when inventories drop below the critical thresholds around 300 million barrels, which I actually believe we are under that, right? The system loses the physical capability to pump out oil at the high speeds required during a national emergency. So this means since we're at less than 300 million barrels right now, that basically means we're in a national emergency. Sludge and debris near the bottom can also clog and damage extraction pipes. Now here's the thing where the guy was going in the video about, because he said that, you know, that this is going to be an everything crisis pretty much. So spiking fuel prices, artificially suppressed or stabilized retail gas and diesel prices will spike rapidly once emergency releases stop, right? So once they're not drawing out any more from the SPR, expect for gas to just shoot up all of a sudden. Zero buffer for future shocks without emergency reserves. Any new crisis, such as a major Gulf Coast hurricane, a refinery fire, or geopolitical closures like Strait of Hormuz, hits the commercial fuel market immediately with no backup cushion. This can cause extreme volatility and severe regional shortages, right? This is where your food is going to get food shortage, medication shortage, everything shortage, right? Right. So just imagine, you know, you're somewhere in some other state, right? And I don't know, it rains a little bit more, right? Now, guess what? You just got to deal with the consequences of that rain. Or for hurricane, you just got to deal with the consequences of that hurricane. Because there's not that means the energy is not there to help you. It's not there to save you. It says replenishment challenges, slow refill rates. Refilling the SPR takes years because the injection and exchange processes are significantly slower than emergency drawdowns, right? So even if we do get back into place, it will take years. So we're at a point where even if we can recover, the loss is happening faster than the gain. It says vulnerability during restocking. A site actively taking in and restocking oil cannot simultaneously release it, leaving the country completely exposed. Slovakia to new global supply shocks while attempts to recover baseline inventory, right? So, pretty much. So this is so far the breakdown of that. It says Ecclesiasticus chapter 10 verse 8, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another, right? So the thing is, with, this this is part of the translation. This is part of Esau's kingdom crumbling, is that you're going to see his kingdom just kind of fall on itself, and it's falling on itself right now, right? How in the world can your kingdom stand when you don't even got oil, right? And of course, we know that Esau is trying to turn this into a tech grid order, a technocracy, right? But I do believe that this everything shortage is also affecting the elites, where they have to push this thing faster. It says Isaiah chapter 19 verse 15, neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do, right? Because the thing is, how can you do work if you don't have gas? How can you go to work if there's no gas in your car, right? So really, everything in this economy, when it comes to work, depends on oil. It takes oil to transport things. It takes oil to get to work. It takes oil to keep things running, like your stove and stuff. So Psalms chapter 37, fret not thyself because of evildoers, neither be thou envious against the workers of iniquity, for they shall soon be cut down like grass, and wither as the green herb. Trust in the Lord and do good, so shalt thou dwell in the land, and verily thou shalt be fed, right? So even when we had this everything crisis going on, Lord willing, we are the elect. For those of us that believe in Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, we'll still be okay. You know, we may not be in the the spot where we're, overflowing in abundance, but our power, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, will not abandon us. So we'll be okay, while the wicked will be in a situation worse than worse. So I just want to say, hope this lesson was edifying. All praise to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Hope this lesson was edifying to the elect, hopeful elect 144,000, and Shalom.